Tonight's Mishmar is sponsored by Daniel and Kim Cohen in honor of all the Rebbeim in Yeshiva. Our opening speaker is from Shana, is that correct? Our opening speaker will be Chanan Krupp.
All right. I'd like to dedicate my Devar Torah to Zecher Nishmas, my great-grandfather, Eliyahu Chaim ben Rafal Nachum Halevi. And also Tom Brady's football career. All right. Habits. How do we get habits to last? Well, we do something over and over and over again until it becomes repetition. But sometimes those habits can be bad habits. In each and every Jew, says the Gur Aryeh in Bartanura, we all have this habit to pray. Now picture this. Bnei Yisrael is in the midbar, they're doing good, and then at the corner of their eye, they see the Mitzrim coming after them. And what's their first reaction? Vaitz'aku Bnei Yisrael el Hashem. Vaitz'aku. They cried out. Not v'hitpalel. They cried out to Hashem. What's a possible reason for this? They were just going based on a reaction, based on something they had previously. Now, we fall into this category too. When we go down for minyan, are we going down to minyan or are we davening? Are we just saying meaningful words or are we davening? Now this is a challenge. What is a challenge? Some say challenges are something that prevent us from accomplishing our goals. But what if we looked at a challenge in another light? What if we saw a challenge as a way to accomplish our goals? No matter how much money you have, how much Torah you learn, or even how much fame you have, you will encounter challenges in your life. And the Torah gives many examples of people that face challenges. But nobody faced more challenges than Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik, no matter whether he was in the pit or second in chief of command in Egypt, he always kept to himself. He was always able to learn. Now, going back to the Jews leaving Egypt, what does Moshe do? Vaikach Moshe et atzma Yosef imo. He takes the bones of Yosef with him. Now what's going on here? Why is that something that Moshe does, leaving Egypt? He just takes the bones of Yosef with him. So the Torah Menachem says a beautiful idea, that since Yosef was somebody that embodied facing challenges head on, Bnei Yisrael needed Yosef with them to go and face those challenges in the midbar. No matter what they faced, they needed Yosef with them. For those of you who don't know, I came in mid-year because I wanted to get my Yosef back. And whatever our next step is, we have two choices. Either we can leave that Yosef behind, all the learning we did, just leave it behind and go to the next step. Or we could be like Bnei Yisrael and Moshe Rabbeinu and take that Yosef with us. I give a bracha that we're all able to give our own personal Yosef, take him with us to our next step, and also be able to have meaningful tefillah in the coming weeks. Good Shabbos.
So 3 weeks ago, I was privileged to hear one of my most favorite Dvar Torahs I've ever heard in my life by Rav Beasley, and which I enjoyed so much I then repeated it that Shabbos at my Yeshiva Shabbaton. Basically, what he was saying is that we all misunderstand the story of the basket in the river. We all think that like Moshe's placed in the river, and then he goes along, and I don't know if you're thinking about it like the Prince of Egypt. I don't know, there's like a hippo and a storm or something. But really, if you actually are looking at the Psukim, never goes down the river. The whole idea is that he's been put in the reeds because the reeds are going to hide him, and that is the whole story. There's never goes down the river, and that absolutely fascinated me because it was a Dvar Torah in just that it was something that we have misconstrued. So I set out to find my own thing, and and I remembered something that an article that I read a while back about how how Kriyat Yamsuf could have been caused by a certain. Oh, hold on, wait, I forgot my paper. Not very smart. That the Kriyat Yamsuf might have there's like a scientific explanation called the wind set down, and based off of the wording of the pasuk of in Beshalach, it says Vayet Moshe et yado al hayam vayolach Hashem et hayam baruch kadim aza kol halayla vayasem et hayam lecharava vayibaku amayim. Specifically, it mentions that there was a ruach kadim aza kol halayla. Now, there was a wind blowing from the strong east wind blowing the whole night. That was, and then in the morning it split. So what's pshat on this strong east wind? So this article had mentioned that this is an explanation that it could have been a wind set down. So I went out to try to prove that the story of Nachshon is that Nachshon is actually not going into real water. It's metaphorical. So I started in Sota, where it says it talks about the story of Nachshon, and so it said so V'alav Mefarish B'Kabbalah. So it says that Nachshon said, Hoshi'eni Elokim Kibau Mayim Anafesh, that save me Hashem because the waters have reached unto my soul. So I thought about this, and it seemingly is metaphorical. The waters have reached unto my soul. It would seem to be a metaphorical water that it is talking about. And Tibati Beven Mitsulav in Mamad Gomer, and I've sunk into the mire of the shadowy depths, and there is no foothold. Al tishtefeni shibolet mayim v'al tivli'eni mitzula. Let not this rushing current sweep me away, nor let the shadowy depths swallow me. So David HaMelech actually uses these words in Tehillim to describe a metaphor as a metaphor for like, I guess, depression, or just like, mental mentality. So I was thinking like, okay, this is going to be very easy, going to prove that it is that it's metaphorical, and then I remembered the Ralbag that likes to say Ra'ui shetada ki Hashem k'shiyaseh hamoftim yishtadel la'amtzi lahem sibot asher yeh b'chidusham yoter me'at, that he'll find reasons that'll like solve them and create reasons for us to understand. But then I went to Rav Kobi to try to like fully hash this out and like finish this Dvar Torah, and we were looking in Midrash Rabbah for I believe it was the Bamidbar one, where it discusses why Nachshon ben Aminadav was called Nachshon ben Aminadav, and it says Nachshon ben Aminadav l'matei Yehuda lama nikra shemo Nachshon al shem shiyorad tchila menachshol shebayam. Nachshol is waves, and if it is in fact waves, then that would disprove the entire thing that I had been working on. And so, was it literal? Was it metaphorical? I no longer could really figure it out. So the other place where Midrash Rabbah mentions Nachshon, I don't know if he mentions anywhere else, but the two places we were looking was also in Midrash Rabbah for Shmos. And it says that it says Vayavo b'nei Yisrael b'toch hayam bayabasha. Im bayam lama bayabasha, v'im bayabasha lama b'toch hayam. So, right, it says Bnei Yisrael went into the sea on dry land. If it's in the sea, why is it on dry land? And if it's on dry land, why is it in the sea? So, this Rav Kobi helped me understand that it's purposely ambiguous. The reason that the Torah leaves it as being Yam Bayabasha, and why it led me in two directions. It could be metaphorical, it could be physical. Is that there are two lessons to learn out from this. You can Moshe prayed to Hashem. Moshe prayed to Hashem, and then there was a wind that blew all the night, and in the morning the waves had parted. Either Nachshon had gone to a physical or a metaphorical one. But what that means is that either the prayers had worked in the morning, and what Nachshon was doing was being the first one to break out from that Mitzrayim mentality, or the prayers had not worked. And he wakes up, and what had the wind been doing? It had been making a massive storm. And really what the wind is there to do is to make it harder. And what Nachshon was doing is going all the way up there and going all the way up to his nose, perfect faith in Hashem, and then Hashem helped him. And both ways, you can wake up in the morning and you can have the way parted for you already. You can wake up in the morning and it's extra choppy seas. But you put your hishtadlus, and then Hashem will help you. Shkoyach. Now for Nidarim. Where is my Nidarim? Where's my Nidarim? So Nidarim ends off. My speech had nothing to do with Nidarim. Sorry. Nidarim ends off with a story about an adulterer who was in the home of a certain woman. Her husband comes home, and he had hidden himself behind a doorway, and there was some cress lying there, and so the husband wants to eat some of it. And so the adulterer yells out, "Don't eat it, a snake tasted from it." So Amar Rava, into Shraya, so his wife is allowed to be with him. Im Isye Da'avar Isura, because if he had adulterated the wife, Nechale Delechu Velemos, he would preferred for the husband to die. Dichtiv kine'efu v'dam b'dehen, because it says that they have committed adultery and there's blood on their hands. Pshita, it's obvious that the adulterer would have let the husband point to himself. Ma'adatema isura abad, you might have said that he actually didn't commit the sin of adultery. V'hai da'amar le, and that's the reason that he told the husband, D'necha le d'lo lemos ba'al, that he prefers the husband not to die. Tehevi, in to say, Ilave mayim genufim yimotaku v'lechem starim yinam, so that because stolen waters are sweeter. Kamash Malan, therefore Rava has to say that Rava said that the adulterer would not have saved the husband's life. Hadron alach velu nadarim v'sliko la maseches nadarim. Hadron alach maseches nadarim v'hadra chalan daitan alach maseches nadarim v'daita chalan lo nisnashe minach maseches nadarim v'lo tishnashe minan lo ba'alma hadein v'lo ba'alma da'aseh yiratzom v'nach Adonai lahinu v'le'avasenu shtehei torascha Tehei torascha Umanuse ba'olam hazel tehei imanu al'olam haba Chanina bar papa Rami bar papa Nachman bar papa Achai bar papa Rabba Mari bar papa Rafram bar papa Rachish bar papa Surcha bar papa Ada bar papa Daru bar papa Harevna Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratecha b'finu v'fius Amcha beis Yisrael v'niyeh Kulanu anachnu v'tze'enu v'tze'eh Amcha beis Yisrael Kulanu yodei shemecha v'ledei Toratecha lishma me'oivai Techakmeni mitzvosecha ki leolam li yihi libi tamim bechukacha leman lo evosh leolam lo eshkach bekudecha ki vam chitani Baruch ata Adonai lamdeni chukacha amen 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 sela va'ed Vadim anachnu levanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'lavasenu sheshamta cholkenu meyoshvei beis hamidrash v'lo samta cholkenu meyoshvei kronos she'anu mashkimim v'hei mashkimim Anu mashkimin l'dvarei Torah, v'hei mashkimin l'dvarim b'telim. Anu amelim v'hei amelim. Anu amelim m'kalim schar, v'hei amelim v'einam m'kalim schar. Anu ratzim v'hei ratzim. Anu ratzim l'chayah olam haba, v'hei ratzim l'ver shachas. Shneimar atah V'ata Elohim toridem leve'er shachas anshe damim u'mirma lo chichetzu yemehem v'ani eftach bach. Yiratzon lefanecha Adonai Elohai Kishem she'azartani l'sayim meseches nedarim Kain ta'azreni lahatchil mesechtos usfarim acherim u'lisayimam lilmod u'lelamed lishmor la'asos l'kayem et kol divrei Talmud Torah be'ava u'schus kol tanaim v'amoraim u'talmidei chachamim yamod li lazari shelo Talmud shatorah mipi zari v'zer zari adolam u'titzkayem behitalechacha tanche otach Osach b'shachlecha tishmar alecha v'hakitzosa hi tesichecha ki bi rabu yamecha v'yosifu lecha shenos chayim orechimim b'yamina b'smola osher chavod Adonai ozam ha'yisen Adonai v'rechas amav ha'shalom. Amen. Hazasa l'chaya mesaya l'asaka yaschon l'chaya Allah Mivne, Karka, Yerushalayim, L'Shlach Lola, Hechle, Begava, L'Mei Ekar, Halchana, Nuchra'a, Min Ara, L'Atava, Halfana, Yishmaya, L'Atre, Yevayamlich, Kudsha, Brifu, B'Malfusei, V'Yikare. וישמח, וכנראה וקרבי ומשפה, בחי יפון ובימיכון, וחי דחה בית ישראל, בעגלה וזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. ישבח וישבח וישמר וישמר וישנסה ויסדר ויסלל וישראל שמק וישב בריחו. לילה אמין כל ברכסו ושרסו ותחסו ונחמסו דאמרם ועלמד ואמרו אמן. על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידיהם ועל כל תלמידיהם ועל כל מן דעסקים בארייסה, די בעצרה דעדן ודי בכל עצר ועצר יהי להון וכל שלום הרבה אחינה וחיסטה ורחמין וחיינה ריחין ובזונה בריחי Orkanav bin Kadam Ravon, Vishmaya bin Amen. Hey Shalom Rabba min Shamay V'Chayim, Aleinu V'Akol Yisrael bin Amen. V'zeh Shalom b'Ramav, Hu Yas Shalom Aleinu V'Akol Yisrael bin Amen.